Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Today we're going to be sharing what probably is the strongest hog deck after the balance changes. Before we do so, it's been a little over 24 hours now since the update went live. What are your guys' first impressions of it? What are your observations? I just tweeted out mine. Let's take a quick look here. Zappies to me seem a little bit underwhelming. Hunter seems really solid in beatdown. We have new chests. To me, they're absolutely amazing. Hard to complain with Supercell incredibly decreasing the cost to max out cards, right? Whether you're free to play or whether you're not free to play, it's just hard to complain about saying, oh, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and reduce the price to max out dramatically in this game. You know, it doesn't affect everybody, but at the same time, for those who it does affect, it's definitely a benefit. I do wish they'd add the new chests into the regular chest rotation. Right now, they're just in quests and in the shop. However, quests do benefit mainly free-to-play players. Anyway, some glitches are better. Others seem the same. Maybe some even new ones have cropped up. So far, knock on wood, I've been okay. We have the pump. Hog and bait decks aren't dead. In fact, they're really good still. And we have the Prince is actually viable. Guards also are good, says Diego B. And that's true. I ran out of characters there. So, yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this deck here. So I'm here joined by Sencer, who is actually being pushed by Addy. Addy went ahead and provided full pro tips for this deck. Boom. It is a mix of old and new, and it's still fast. It's 3.1 average elixir cost, which is really good. It has a Tornado and Executioner combination. That's nothing new, but Tornado, to the surprise of many people, was not nerfed in this last balance update. A lot of people could make an argument that the Tornado is a million times more powerful than, say, Lightning, which they nerfed quite a bit for no reason. Anyway, or there was maybe a reason, but whatever. We're not going to get into that today. We're going to focus on the deck. We have two cards that were nerfed. We have Hog Rider and we have Knight. Both really strong cards still. Incredibly strong cards. And we have Guards. Guards were recently buffed. And it's pretty fast with the Cycle card. We also have Poison in the deck instead of Fireball. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at who we're here with. There it is. Like I told you, #1 player in the world as of right now, it's Sencer. So let's take a look at his account. He finished best season #3. There is another account called Sencer is God as well. Apparently, Sencer is a big role model to quite a few people. Anyway, let's go ahead and watch these replays here. Let's start out with a quick replay of yours truly playing the deck for the first time. I gotta say, I love the deck. And we're going against Three Musketeers. Three Musketeers could be the most popular or at least powerful deck right now in the entire meta. I think Three Musketeers got even better with his previous round of balance changes, especially how the rest of the meta will shift. It seems like Three Musketeers doesn't really have a big weakness right now. So here I opt to poison the minion horde here instead of using the Executioner. That way I can also go ahead and use my Tornado to activate my King Tower. That was a little bit of an expensive play on my part. However, now I have an activated King Tower, which, let's be totally honest, doesn't really help me out that much against Three Musketeers. So it was a little bit of a risky move. So here I don't have an obvious play, so I decide to start cycling to my Hog Rider, using the guard split in the back, and then going in the right lane here. So my opponent goes ahead and he plays a Goblin Gang. So now I know he has Goblin Gang. What I tend to do is, if I have log in rotation, I will predictive log not the push after they play Goblin Gang, but the push after that. I think I illustrate it in this very replay here, so I'll go ahead and point it out when I do it. But basically, a lot of times people will hesitate on their second Goblin Gang, but not their third if I don't preemptive log on the second one. Does that make any sense? Again, we'll show you what I mean in the replays here. So here's the Executioner. I had to delay a little bit to make sure he wouldn't target onto the Miner, and there the activated King Tower actually did help me out, killing that Miner a little bit sooner. So here comes the Hog Rider, and again, I don't use the log yet. Of course, I didn't think I would need the log necessarily because my opponent placed I didn't know my opponent was going to place the knight there behind my Executioner. However, now this next time, I will definitely predictive log on my next hog push as long as I'm sure that they have the Goblin Gang in rotation here. So here we go, splitting 2 Musketeers towards the tower he's not targeting. Of course, I'm going to take that bait and use the poison on the left. And at this point, all I really have to do here is just not mess up defensively, and I'll be pretty good. So I drop off an Ice Spirit way behind that right tower. I play a Knight right in the middle. He decides to go all in the left lane. Luckily, I have Executioner Tornado, so there's absolutely nothing to worry about. Against the 3 Musketeer deck, you're totally willing to take some damage to both of your towers because you know they don't have a big spell. So having them split the damage like this, it's really playing into exactly what I want him to do. So there it is. It was the Hog Rider predictive log. It worked out for me there, guys. I got that right tower down to 495 HP. This time, I have to do a little bit of a better job defensively, so I used my Knight, my Ice Spirit, and my Poison all on defense there. In this deck, it's okay to use Poison defensively or against an Elixir Pump because you still have the Executioner, who's great at splash damage. So I use a log on the left here, and I have Executioner slowly going down on the right. Unfortunately, I'm really forced to spam everything I can at the bridge, just buying my King Tower, my Princess Tower more time to kill that miner there on the right. So here, I'd use a log. I caught the Goblin Gang there. That was on accident. It wasn't an amazing predictive log. However, even if I didn't catch the Goblin Gang, the Executioner would have taken care of them. My opponent at this point is pretty much in panic mode. I knew he had Minion Horde, so I used the predictive Poison there to finish off the match with that Hog Rider. Okay, let's go ahead and hop into a replay of a real pro here. And on this replay, he says, wow, 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 wow. And I haven't watched it yet. So let's watch it together in the first time ever. He left it only an hour and 4 minutes ago, so let's see what he did here. So he's going against, it looks like a mirror deck, or not a mirror deck, but a Hog Tornado deck, but his opponent has Rocket. Remember, we're opting for the cheaper Poison spell. Also, Rocket did get a pretty decent nerf now that it no longer does, 714 damage at max level, as we see here at the very top of ladder. So Sencer's going to go ahead and start out by activating the King Tower against his opponent's Hog, and guess what? The opponent's going to do the exact same thing in return. By the way, we have some awesome replays with this deck against some of the world's other best players, including Octay and even Nova Botchum. So it should be a lot of fun to watch the rest of the replays in this video. So here we go, guys. At this point, trying to assess exactly what deck the opponent has, and it turns out the opponent also has an Executioner. So again, these decks are very, very similar. It's almost a mirror match, besides the spells, and the opponent has Goblins instead of Guard. I like Guards better, and Guards can still be used, according to Addy, as one of 3 combinations with the Hog Rider. It can be Hog Knight, it can be Hog Guards, or of course, it can be Hog Ice Spirit as your third kind of mini push at the bridge. Seldom should you be sending just a naked Hog. It really depends on what your opponent has as far as their counters on what you're going to send in. If your opponent has Tornado, like his opponent right here, then you're always going to try to go ahead and send in the Knight before the Hog. That way, the Knight will be targeted by the towers, the King Tower, the Princess Tower, and the Hog will still be able to get a few hits on your opponent's tower. So here we go. At this point, the opponent decides to start using the Rocket Cycle pretty early on, about 75 seconds before this match has concluded. So here comes another Tornado by the opponent here, pulling the Hog into the King Tower, and then using the log on the Knight and the Ice Spirit there. That actually was pretty well played. Wasn't sure what he was doing at first, but he had the log to back it up. So at this point, it's really neck and neck. So we go for the poison chip damage. The opponent goes for another rocket. So we know we have a little bit of an elixir lead here. We send in the guards, we send in the hog, we send in that log, which does a good job taking down that ice spirit there. And now just like that, we're back into the lead. However, you can see the opponent has a rocket queued up. Here comes the rocket aimed right at our face. So the left tower down to 1031. The opponent's left tower down to 1139 here. Here comes the log. The hog does not get a hit on that tower, though, and we kind of, okay, I was going to say we waste an Ice Spirit. I guess we don't there, as it was able to, with the help of the guards there, just finish off that knight. However, this is a do-or-die push here. Here comes the Hog Rider. Here comes the Ice Spirit. Hog does not get a hit on that tower. All the opponent needs to do is cycle to one last rocket. How does Sencer pull this off? Here comes the Executioner, and he uses the Tornado. And then a Tornado used against his Executioner. Now I see why he said, wow, 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 wow. Here comes the log. And here comes the rocket. Is he gonna rocket? No, he's not gonna rocket. He can't rocket. It's down to 74 damage, and oh my gosh, the poison is going to finish things off. Yeah, that was indeed a pretty intense match there. Wow. Good win there by Sencer. All right, let's go ahead and watch. Oh, by the way, guys, crap video coming up soon. If you guys, CWA Pro Tips getting a little cluttered right now. Hope you don't mind. Okay, let's watch the replay here against, there was one, this one against blue team, I think it was a very similar matchup, yeah. So let's not show that one. It might have been the same guy, I don't even know. But let's go ahead and show the one, start off against the Nova Botcham deck. Now, when you have Executioner Tornado, you pretty much have a good hard counter to any deck, but especially Lava Loon. And this is Nova Botcham's new Lava Loon deck. You guys, maybe he was testing it, or maybe he's really switched to it, but essentially, he does have guards in there now instead of Goblin Gang in the old Nova Botcham deck. So let's see exactly how we deal with this matchup. Now remember, we have a really, really powerful card in the Executioner and the Tornado that can prevent a lot of balloon damage, as well as really shut down a monster push for a huge elixir advantage in our favor. So Sencer did say that his favorite starting moves with this deck is guard split at the back or an Ice Spirit at the bridge. He doesn't ever really want to go ahead and use, or even a guard's, yeah, that was it. He never wants to use a hog right off the bat with this deck. So just a little note to you guys, you're never going to start out with just a naked hog. There's just too many hog counters out there, and now with the really fraction of a 100th of a second delay, or a 10th of a second, excuse me, on the hog, there's really no reason. So if you guys saw the episode with Nova Botcham on my channel, I'll link that for you guys if you didn't see it. He was really, really good. A lot of you said that was your favorite episode of all time. And he said that when he goes against an Executioner, he will split lane push with the balloon in the lane that the Executioner is not on. So you see him actually doing that right here against Sencer, and then Sencer is able to get a very interesting push here. You check that out, guys? It's a little mini 4 elixir push. All it is an Ice Spirit and guards in that left lane, but it gets a lot of chip damage onto that tower, especially if the Ice Spirit is able to get there before the guards, freeze the tower, and then, you know, the guards go ham on the tower. The guards take forever to kill by the tower now. So here we go, Hog Rider, he does not get a hit on that tower, and it's time for Nova Botcham to go ahead and reload with a Lava Hound in the back. Where is it? There it is. All right, so Lava Hound played in the right lane. Let's see what he decides to do this time. So Sencer is going to go ahead and answer with an Executioner of his own, and then he goes hard with the Hog Rider, knowing that he beat out the counter in the Tombstone. So let's kind of review exactly what Sencer just did there. As soon as the opponent played the Lava Hound, he went ahead and he mirrored with the Executioner. But he knew, based on counting cards, there was no way the opponent had enough rotation power to get back to his Tombstone. At that point, he went all out with guards and hog in the left lane, causing, again, Botcham to have to scramble there and catching him without his counter in hand, getting a lot of damage onto that left tower. And now, Botcham's going to go ahead and just sacrifice that tower, even though he did have Tombstone in hand, because he wants to go all out on this right lane push. Excuse me, still a little under the weather, guys. So here it comes. It's a Lava Loon coming in the right lane, but there's really not enough time at this point, unfortunately, for Nova Botcham there. Getting a decent amount of damage to that right tower, but you can see that's exactly how you're going to want to play as a Hog player against a Lava Loon player using this deck. Let's go ahead and watch the replay against Octay. This was a really cool replay, guys, because he's going against the Hunter card. Have you guys played the Hunter yet? I mean, obviously, you've probably played the Hunter Challenge. What do you think of him? What are your first impressions? We'll see him in this deck that Octay is playing, and Octay has a very maxed out 100% Hunter card. Is he going to start out with it? No, he's not going to start out with it, but I think that Sencer's going to give a wow once he does drop it. So Sencer starts off with a Hog, doing basically, so Hog was his first play of the match, but not before the opponent dropped the Mega Minion in the opposite lane. So that would be a circumstance where you can play Hog as the first card in the match. So here we go again, just doing a good job distracting that Mega Minion in the left lane, meanwhile mitigating any heavy damage on the right lane by Sencer. And Octay still hasn't played that Hunter. I want to see the maxed Hunter in action here, guys. So here we go. Here comes a Miner for Octay, just kind of doing a little bit of chip damage, an easy King Tower activation there by Sencer. And of course, this deck is so defensively robust, guys, the deck that Sencer has, that really there's no matchup that gives it really big issues. I guess even against Logbait, you have decent answers in the Log, of course, the Tornado, of course, and even the Guards in a pinch. So here comes the Giant, Night Witch, and Mega Minion push, all shut down by the Executioner, doing some work there on defense. Executioner, such a strong card. So here we go. It's a little mini push. Executioner and Knight, but there it is. There's the wow, too. It's the Max Hunter. Now, of course, Hunter doesn't do a lot of damage from long range, but you can see he does pretty good work in combination with a Knight there. Now, we're going to get a little mini push here, Hunter and a Mega Minion, but remember, guys, Hunter doesn't have a lot of hit points. You're going to see how fast his health is going down just by that Log, and he's not even able to kill that Hog Rider. So that was a really big turning point here for Sencer. I'm sure Octay was probably just testing out the Hunter in this deck, but of course, Hunter really not a good tank. You still need that Giant in front of him, or that Miner, of course. So here we go, it's the Knight and the Hog Rider coming in the right lane. It's going to be a Hunter and a Mega Knight stopping them, but not stopping them. He's going to take the right tower, and that poison did some work too, killing the Hunter. Remember, the Hunter, not that beefy, not that tanky, so keep that in mind when using him. Still, I think, a really good bargain at only 4 elixir, as opposed to, say, the Executioner at 5 elixir. If he was 5 elixir, I don't think he could ever hold the candle or contend to the Executioner, but the fact that he's 1 elixir less, the same as, say, a Lumberjack, he's a very interesting option in beatdown decks especially. So here at the end of the match, you can see Octay kind of threw in the towel. Maybe this wasn't the deck for him, or maybe he's played it more and he likes it better now. But either way, just wanted to show you that replay because, hey, it's a Max Hunter, and I love Octay. So, excuse me, guys. So that's going to do it for today's video. Another huge shout out to Addy, aka Sencer, on the Sencer account. Really appreciate him coming on. Shout out to Sandstorm, his organization, and of course, shout out to Bren Chong, my YouTube partner. Check out his information in the description below. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.